Hi, I'm Andre. Welcome to Travel Memoirs. My guest today is an art professional and world traveler.
Hi guys, my name is Jessica and I am an art and culture professional and I freelance as a model.
And how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Tell me your story.
I do a lot of backpacking and I've also looked for opportunities as frequently as I can to either study or work in specific countries because I find spending an extended period of time, you learn and appreciate whatever you find so much more. So I've done archaeological digs in Belize and I've studied art in Spain. The most extensive backpacking was when I did this 2 to 3, I think it was 3 or 4 month tour of East Asia, where I started in South Korea, where I had lived and worked for 2 years. And then I flew down to Hong Kong and the Philippines. I went to China, Nepal, Malaysia, Myanmar, and Vietnam. And I was supposed to go to Cambodia afterwards, but I crashed my motorcycle in Vietnam and had to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you rode a motorcycle through
Vietnam. Yeah, I started in Hanoi when my partner and I went up north together and went all the way to the Chinese border and then went down and almost like exactly halfway through the country, I crashed my bike on a mountain and I destroyed my left knee and had to come home and get surgery.
I thought the motorcycle broke, but I guess you both did.
No, I opened up my knee on the road. It wasn't a good time.
So I guess tip of the day is wear knee pads.
It's actually the one thing I would tell anyone that does motorcycle tours through Asia is I know it is hot. The day I crashed, it was like 50 degrees and 100% humidity, and we were on what we later found out to be the most dangerous road in Vietnam because there were so many accidents there.
Okay.
And it simply is, I know it's hot, wear as much clothing as you can, because I'd actually had a very similar crash about 2 weeks beforehand, but because I'd been in the mountains, I was wearing pants. And I didn't even rip my pants, I just had a small bruise, but because I was wearing shorts that day because it was so hot, that's what caused the accident.
I understand it can be quite dangerous traveling alone. Do you have any tips for people who do plan to travel alone, like me?
So I actually find that men have a much easier time traveling, particularly in places like India. But if you are a woman traveling alone, I've often found that having little things that can help you get through is really important. So in countries that I've experienced where people are constantly asking me if I'm married, I sometimes would just get a fake wedding ring just so people would leave me alone.
Okay.
And in other countries where I wouldn't say women are necessarily targeted, but may not be as well respected as they may be in their home country, I think it's really important for women to look into what rights and laws that they have in those countries so that they're aware of what they can do for themselves.
Okay. Have you ever explored the countries your family's from?
So in 2016, I visited my best friend in London.
Okay.
And she and I decided to go to Scotland just as an adventure while I was there. And what I discovered in Scotland, not only did everyone more or less look like me, which was
I can see that.
I wouldn't say unnerving, but it's a little surreal because when you grow up thinking only you look like you except for your mother, and then all of a sudden there's all of these people, I started to discover there were parts of my family that I had always considered to be just a little weird, that didn't really fit with Canadian culture, and I just always, in some ways, kind of felt like an outsider, despite the fact that I looked like everyone else that I went to school with.
How did you end up living in Toronto?
Oh, so I was living abroad, and I wanted my master's, and I found that my particular master's is so specialized that there were 6 places in the world that they offered it in English that were not in the United States or the United Kingdom.
Okay.
And the University of Toronto had the cheapest program.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it is surprising. So this is how I ended up here.
And what were some of the other options? Do you remember?
So the master's is a Master's of Museum Studies, and I was looking into Abu Dhabi. I think there's another one in Sydney. There's Koç University in Turkey, which I was going to apply to, and then they went to war. and I think the other ones are escaping me at this time, but I
Okay.
know the list was short.
I was just curious, as in, what countries are, what the education in what country is more expensive than here?
Oh,
So those countries,
so Abu Dhabi was 70,000 USD per year for tuition.
okay,
Yeah. And the other places, so Koch University was affordable. However, because of international fees, it became more expensive all overall. And with going to school in Canada, I had more options for student grants.
okay. Have you discovered anything in particular in Toronto that was just magical to you?
So I work in art and culture, and it means I spend a lot of time looking for interesting and new art that's going on. And the underground art scene in Toronto is excellent. It's just very hard to find, particularly if you're new. So that I think is the most wonderful thing about the city.
I'm not new and I don't know where to find
You don't
it.
know where to find it?
No.
Yeah, I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
So some of the best places to look for them would be Artery, like the artery in your arm, .is. And they have what's called secret showcases that go on all the time, like every week. And they're often hosted in public spaces, in private homes, in private businesses. And it's just a way for creating community and sharing art. And it's frequently, if not free, like less than $20.
That's brilliant. Thank you for that.
Yeah. My immediate genetic line is made of first and second generations, meaning they would have an immigrant who came to Canada, got citizenship, and then married a local Canadian, and then they would have children, have a second generation, and then that child would marry an immigrant, and like continuing.
Okay. So what about you? Did you date first or second generation Canadian?
I'm actually engaged to a Pakistani immigrant who has first generation citizenship status, and then
Okay.
I have second.
Okay, so basically you're following along.
Totally,
with your family.
100%.
Have you visited, Pakistan, for example?
I just went there over Christmas for an entire month to meet
Okay.
my in-laws.
And how was that?
It was amazing. I tell everyone to go to Pakistan, especially if you're a foreign bride, because you're so spoiled. Everyone there wants to make you feel welcome. I have never experienced hospitality in the way that Pakistanis shown me. Like it was like even the people that lived in their own homes and their children would look after me as if I was like at a 5-star hotel. It was incredible.
At the end of each video, I usually ask my guests a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it starts off like this. What's your favorite day of the week?
Saturday.
Okay. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Moose tracks.
What's the sexiest name?
Alejandro.
What's the best age?
17.
And do you know how to ride a bike?
Oh yeah.
What cheers you up?
Good company.
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits.
DC or Marvel?
Neither.
Who's the biggest celebrity you met?
Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP party.
Okay, so a politician.
Yeah.
Okay, choose your weapon to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Arsenic.
So you don't want to survive.
No, I do not.
Say good day in another language.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Okay, that's Japanese.
Korean, actually.
So close. Well, that was amazing. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.